Hi, this is Cantankerous Games, and today we'd like to talk to you about why yes, you, have no business in indie. But don't worry, you're not the only one. Let's set the scene. You're playing a game, or maybe watching a stream or a YouTube video. Suddenly, it hits you. I can make a game like this. Perhaps a similar thought. I can do this better. Maybe you've had the thought before, or maybe it's the first time. It doesn't matter. From this moment on, you're certain. I'm going to be an indie game developer. After all, it's easier than ever. Gone are the days of boxes on store shelves thanks to digital distribution. And gone is the need for a ton of specialized knowledge thanks to the multitude of tutorials and tools available on the internet. Gone are many of the barriers to making a game. I can do this. I will do this. And you can, but not many of us do it alone. While there are some who choose the journey of a solo indie developer, most choose to walk the path as a team. Usually, this team is built from people you know family, friends, current and former coworkers, all form a potential pool of talent that you can draw from. Whether they're professionals, hobbyists, or looking to develop some new skills, you can usually find people with enough interest and enthusiasm to start making a game. So far, so good, right? But then the question is, if many teams start this way, why aren't there way more games, way more studios out there? Well, as much as you love the idea of indie game development, eventually it's going to feel like work. It's going to feel like work for you, every member of your team. It's going to feel like work when a bug causes enemies to disappear over and over again on the first level for no discernible reason. It's going to feel like work when retouching the asset you bought on the Unity store still doesn't make it fit quite right in the game. And it's going to feel like work when you've listened to 17 samples of a coin drop clink and still can't agree on which one belongs in the game. Indie game development feels like work because it is work. And not everyone wants or can sustain more work, which means that some people on your dream team are going to leave. Not wanting to make games anymore is a perfectly valid reason in and of itself to quit. However, there are 1,000 other things that can come into play. A move, a new relationship, a new job, a family issue can all pull someone away. But what happens when they leave? Who owns what they created? How much of the game's profit are they entitled to based on the work they've put in? How long are they entitled to that profit share? And what happens if they've left on a sour note? Hey, it happens, and don't want their work to be used in the game. You and your team have thought about this, right? You've written it down somewhere with signatures and dates. Maybe. But probably, like so many of us, you've let enthusiasm run ahead of pragmatism. And right now, as of this moment, you have no business in your indie. So, how do you get into the business of business? Well, we're not lawyers, and on no planet should this be considered a replacement for sound legal advice. But to put it simply, write stuff down. Whether you're just starting your game or you're somewhere in the gooey middle, write it down. It doesn't have to be complex, but it does have to be clear. Here's an example of some things that could work for you and your team. Write down who is doing what, and on average, how many hours a week are they going to put into it? Who owns the assets that they create? The art, the code, the sound, what have you, if they decide to exit? What is their share of revenue from the game? How long is that revenue share in place? And what happens to their share if they exit before the game ships? If you're working with friends or family, these conversations can seem impossible because nobody wants to take the fun out of what you've all come together to do. But this is the best way to protect those relationships before life happens. Talking about things like this with your team not only gives everyone a level of comfort, but it makes it real. Everyone understands what's expected of them, what they get out of it, and what happens if enthusiasm wanes or life gets in the way. The sooner you have these conversations about business, the sooner you and your team can get back to the business of making games. The game you've been seeing throughout this video is Daybringer by Dark Lab Games, a studio that the Cantankerous team is working with to help market their terrific side-scrolling action title. You can find a link to their demo below. Do you have questions about game dev or need some help finishing or marketing your game? So, drop us a line. It's what we do. Happy game dev. Talk soon.